So what follows are the directions for the next part of your project. So you are going to get this paper that has kind of the rubric worked out on it. And then you're going to get this paper here, this one. So this is on the back. And then these are mine. You can't write on these or take them home with you. There is a copy of this on the internet. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So we're going to do most of our work with this map today in class on this paper right here. And then your developing of your project, you can do outside of school and in class tomorrow and so forth. So let's look back at this rubric. It says, your parents are pleased with your achievement thus far in the 6th grade and would like to reward you with a trip to New York City. You're going to go sightseeing in the city, and when you arrive, you and your family start your tour at Rockefeller Center, which is represented by the yellow star. You only have a limited amount of time, so you need to choose 7 places to visit. So please highlight 7, because that's how many places you're going to have. So you've already chosen 4 places. So now you're going to add 3 more. Your starting point is Rockefeller Center. So if you already included Rockefeller Center in your brochure, you've already got all your information for that, and we'll go a little bit further there. You also need to go to the National Museum of Mathematics, which is called MoMath, as one of your stops. So what you have to do is you have to map out your route from site to site by making a list in order of the places you're going to go visit. And that's what you're going to be doing today. You're going to look at the map, you're going to pick out the places that you want to go, and then you're going to find them on the map, and you're going to do them kind of in order. So you want to make like a circle as you go through your map. You don't want to go up and across and then back down and across and then back up and across. So you want to kind of do it like if you were really doing it. So if you were walking this, you wouldn't want to be walking, 100 blocks one way and then 50 blocks the other way when you could walk 150 blocks in all for the whole thing. So that's what you need to be thinking about. On the map, so like I said, you're going to start at Rockefeller Center and you're going to end at Rockefeller Center. So you do have to make a circle through your things. You must walk horizontally and vertically, just like we did with the amusement park when we kept going all these different places. And you want to find the shortest possible route. So you want to take the least number of steps because, like I said, you're walking. So it's going to take a lot out of you. Here, you've got to have 1 slide for each site you're going to visit. So that means you're going to have 8 slides in all, or 9 slides in all. So you're going to have a slide for Rockefeller Center, you're going to have a slide for MoMath, and then you're going to have a slide for 5 other places that you're going to go. On each slide, you're going to give the name of the site, the coordinate point of the site, the quadrant that it is in, then you're going to do the distance. You're going to have your turn point, like we did on the practice we did. And then you're going to write your absolute value equation. So this is all in your notebook on that same page, page 12 in part 4, where you've got that map where we went from place to place to place to place. You have to give the distance between the 2 sites, and you then have to give the total distance in units for that entire tour. So that means if it took you 10 blocks to go in the first place, and then 10 more blocks, that's 20, and then 5 blocks, that's 25, so you have to have a whole thing. And then you have to have your computations clearly organized. So, and then there are these questions that you're going to answer on the last slide. So let's look here first at what the project is going to look like when it's done. So this is an example of a slide that someone made in another class. So they have a picture of Rockefeller Center. They have the coordinate. What is the coordinate points of it? What quadrant is it in? It's really not in a quadrant because it's at the origin, but maybe a little bit was in quadrant 1. And then they are going to go to the Museum of Modern Art. So this is what we'll be looking at. So, and then they've got their facts. So they just copied their facts from their brochure onto their project. So here's what we've got. So let's look at the map. We're going to go from Rockefeller Center to the Museum of Modern Art. So when I come here and I look at the map and I make it bigger, Rockefeller Center is right here at 0, 0. The Museum of Modern Art is up here at 2, 4. So the first thing I'm going to write in my little chart is, and we're just going to do this same math that that person did already so you understand what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to write here is Rockefeller Center. It is not in a quadrant. It is at the origin. So, and its ordered pair is 0, 0. Whoops. Okay, so up here I've got, for each place you're going, you have to have the site, you have to have the quadrant, and you have to have the ordered pair. So here's Rockefeller Center on my map at the origin. I'm headed to the Museum of Modern Art. So remember from when we were doing those activities, I can either go straight up and then turn right, or I could go to the right and then go straight up. Now here is Radio City Music Hall. So if I was going to go to Radio City Music Hall, I wouldn't even have to have a turning point. I could just go from Rockefeller Center to Radio City Music Hall, figure out that distance, and then go to the next one. But we've decided to go to the Museum of Modern Art. So let's go to the Museum of Modern Art. So my turning point that I'm going to use is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 0, 4. So that's going to be my turn. So I'm going to put my turning point right here. Okay. And then I'm headed to here. So that is at 2, 4. So my site is, they call it MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. It is in quadrant 1. Okay. And it is at 2, 4. Okay. So now I need to remember about how I do that absolute value equation. So the first thing I'm going to look at is I am going to look here and I am going to see, are they in the same quadrant or different quadrants? They're in the same quadrant. So since they are in the same quadrant, I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to do the absolute value of 0 minus, or I'm going to do the absolute value of 4 rather, minus the absolute value of 0. And that gives me a distance from here to here of 4 units. Then I'm going to go from the turning point to MoMA. So I'm going to look here. This was on the y-axis and this is in quadrant 1. So I'm going to be subtracting again. So I'm going to do 2 minus 0, because remember the 4s are the same, so I'm not messing with those. I have the absolute value symbols on either side of those, and 2 minus 0 is 2. So to get from from Rockefeller Center to the Museum of Modern Art, I would go 4 blocks north, 2 blocks west, or east rather, and so this distance is 2. So I'm going to say that my total distance is 6 units, because 4 plus 2 equals 6. So let's look at what the exemplar looked like. So here we have, same thing we had. We had 0, 0, and our turn, so that's our turn. And then we had 2, 0, which was your turn, and then the Museum of Modern Art. So here's their equation. 0 minus 2, so that gave me a distance of 2 units. 0 minus 4, that gave me a distance of 4 units. 2 units plus 4 units is equal to 6 units. And then they've got their facts. So this is what the slide would look like. And notice here that they say that they're going, this is where they started, and they're going to the Museum of Modern Art. So what you're going to do today in class is this. You are going to fill in this table using the map. Now, in class, you can use, because the maps are all in plastic sleeves, you can use dry erase markers to write on the map to figure out where your points are and your turns are and so forth. So what I would do if I was using my dry erase marker, I would go, oh, okay, well, my turn is going to be here. So I mark that so that I can mark those points. And then I'm getting ready to go to the next place. So let's say now I wanted to go from the Museum of Modern Art up to Bloomingdale's. So I'm going to walk here down East 54th Street. So I'd write the point for the Museum of Modern Art here. So this information can just go right here because it's going to be the same thing. Because where am I going? Then I'm going to have my turn, my new turn, which is going to be here at 5-4. So I'll write my new turn here, and then I'll write my destination, which is now I'm going to write Bloomingdale's up here. And so forth. And that's what you're going to do. So remember, you have to go all the way around the city. The Museum of Math is all the way here at the bottom of the map. It is at, golly, 2, -14. So is that 2? Yeah, because that's y-axis. So 2, -14. Empire State Building is down here too. Here's the library. Here's Grand Central Station. Okay, the Lincoln Tunnel's over here. Like I said, Grand Central Station's here. This is the UN quarters. So right here that I have marked in green, that's the UN headquarters. They just had to write the writing down here, but this green dot right here, that's the UN headquarters. So the UN is on the x-axis, so it's 90. Going up into the northern part of the city, we have, let me move my chart here, hang on. So we've got, here's Central Park, and then this up here is the zoo. So right here, this whole thing is the park, but that right there is the zoo. So if you did the park and the zoo, that's where you're going to want to head. So the first thing you've got to do, like I said, is you've got to kind of map out your route. Where are you going to start? Where are you going to go? How are you going to make that circle so that you wind up back here at Rockefeller Center? So let's talk about resources you have available to you. On my website, under homework, I have these links. So I have a link to the map. I have a link to the worksheet that you got today in class. I have a link to the directions you got today in class, and a link to the exemplar. The exemplar is a project that someone did for Mrs. Miller a couple years ago, and it shows you everything that you're going to need in your project. Don't copy their project, but you can look at what it needs to look like. Remember, you're going to take your brochure, you're going to take all that information and throw it into your project so that you've got that. You don't have to do it again. Once again, on each page, you're going to need a picture. So the final product is going to look something like this, where we've got a picture of where we're going. We've got all this math information. You've got your points, you've got your absolute value equation, and then you've got your total, and then the little facts. So just look through that, have a good time. The only thing you should really be doing today is figuring out your route and writing down your points. Then tonight you could do your math, and then tomorrow in class you can start making it be pretty. Thanks. Have a good day.